I have severe anxiety disorder.
I fantasize about meeting that person in real life and then eat their organs.
He makes more money than me. He's more respected than me. He's doing better than me. Why does he need a flipping pro card? Quit before it's too late. Coach Greg, in today's video, we're going over the aftermath of the video I did on Mike Israetel, where I stated, put your ego aside and guys should be retiring from bodybuilding. Stop abusing performance-enhancing drugs. Because of that video, there was a whole host of people that were saying, leave him alone. If you really cared about his health, you would write him in private. Do you really think that would have made a lick of difference? Hey, Mike, it's Greg. You should retire from bodybuilding because you're using steroids. It's bad for you. Do you really think that would make any difference whatsoever? The reason I made this video isn't to just save Mike Israetel's life, of which perhaps it will. It's to reach thousands of other people. Perhaps 1 million people will watch this video and think twice about abusing steroids. Dr. Greg has beef with Dr. Mike. Someone help me, what's going on? And so the reason I'm making this video isn't because I have beef with Dr. Mike. I don't care what he does. I wish him all the best. I've stated in a number of my videos that he's an amazing YouTuber. He's the most popular fitness YouTuber in the world. He's got, I think, 75 million views in a month, and he has quality information. The guy has a PhD. He's highly educated. And so if you've actually watched a video, of which many people didn't, they're writing comments without watching it, that are thinking I'm just picking on him, that I'm just putting him down. When what I'm doing is giving an honest assessment, and I'm literally showing what he says.
I have severe anxiety disorder.
And pointing out that these are very dangerous negative side effects, which he points out himself.
I fantasize about meeting that person in real life, walking up to them in the gym way too close to their face and be like, say something, you pussy.
I'm resharing what he himself is talking about. I'm not twisting his words. I'm not making it look like something it's not. It's not a clickbait title. It's exactly what it should be. So basically, he's do what you did around 40. Looks like it worked out well for you. And so here's the difference between me and Mike. I started abusing steroids in my 30s. Mike started far younger. And so I, in total, perhaps abused steroids for around 10 years. Mike has been using steroids, abusing them for perhaps 15 years. And if you look at my body in comparison to his, and my side effects in compared to his, I, in fact, was a lot healthier. And how do I know that? Because I never had crippling anxiety. I never had those club thumbs. I never had the distended stomach the way he does. I never abused growth hormone, never abused insulin, never did all of these things. I also wasn't using a semaglutide or a GLP-1 agonist. As in, I never needed certain drugs to decrease my hunger. I never had to abuse diuretics for weeks on end before a competition. And I had elite level genetics, not just in my ability to put on muscle, but also in my shape and symmetry. I achieved my IFBB Pro card at 35. Mike Israetel, approaching 40, has not reached one. He's hoping to get a Master's Pro card. And so I was using my freaking cookbook to get in shape for competitions. Mike Israetel just doesn't have the same genetics as me. Doesn't mean he knows less about bodybuilding, less about dieting and so on. It just means he doesn't have the same genetics. And so despite how intelligent Mike is, he hasn't stopped abusing steroids. He admits it himself. He's getting all those negative side effects. He admits that when he stops the steroids, they go away, but yet he still continues to do it. And do you not think that these are doing irreparable damage to his heart? Ever heard of something known as left ventricular hypertrophy? Do you not know how damaging these steroids can actually be? Perhaps instead of listening to Hensenfeld and that little circ jerk Haktui thing that's going on, he should be perhaps listening to Jeff Nippard. Henselfeld, who wrote a disturbing comment on my video saying, "Oh my goodness, I can't believe you resort to making this. It's the worst. Greg, this is low even by social media standards. If you were genuinely concerned about him, you would have contacted him personally. So this is clearly nothing more than tabloid level gossip to get views of Mike's fame." Yeah, it's just gossip that steroids are bad for your health. It's just gossip that they can shorten your life. It's just gossip that steroids shouldn't be abused. Gossip it is. Mike's uniquely transparent about his drug use and personal goals, unlike most in the industry, and you're using it against him. He knows exactly what he's doing, so you're going to judge him. Yeah, It's exactly what I'm going to do because I know exactly why he's abusing steroids, because he knows exactly what they do to him, because he's smarter than almost everyone. I'm judging him. I'm saying, Mike, you know this is bad for you. You know it's taking years on your life. Why don't you just stop doing it? You've accomplished so much. You don't need to keep doing it. And so imagine if Chris Bumstead made a video. Hey everyone, I'm suffering from crippling anxiety. It's really bad for me. The doctors have warned me. It's not good for me, that it's going to take years off my life. Will we say, Chris, keep going, but I have unfinished business. I want to win 9 Olympia titles to set the record. Will we say, yeah, Chris, keep going. You're the man. Keep winning. Or we'd say, Chris, didn't you just have a baby? Aren't you married? Don't you care about your family? You've done it all. You've already won 5 titles. Why don't you retire? Why are you continuing to abuse performance-enhancing drugs when you don't need to? You're a multimillionaire. You have over 20 million followers. Why would you keep using steroids when you can retire? Retire now before it's too late. Oh, Greg, you're such a horrible YouTuber to say that Chris should retire. This is exactly the comparison that you're doing to me. And so is it bad for me to try to discourage steroids? Oh, I should just reach out to Chris in private and say, Chris, you know, you should retire from bodybuilding because you have a family. Steroids are bad. You really think that's going to make any difference? But if I make a video and 1 million people watch it, do you think that could make a difference? And so before you judge me, why don't you judge yourself? This is the guy that said steroids, it doesn't shorten your life. He made a video saying, oh, I'm unbiased and steroids don't shorten your life. People are going to watch that video and say, huh, exactly what I wanted to hear. I'm up in the trend. Why don't we listen to Jeff Nippert instead? After all, imagine if Jeff Nippert decided, you know what? I also want a pro card like Mike Israetel. I'm going on steroids. I'm going to use hella gear. I'm going to hire Mike Israetel. I'm going to use diuretics, steroids, insulin, and so on. I can't wait. I want my pro card. People would be like, wow, let's watch Jeff Nippert. How many thousands of people do you think would then use steroids because Jeff Nippert decided to use steroids? He could be open, honest, transparent. Hey guys, I'm using this, and this. But because it's Jeff Nippert, because he's smart, because he understands the science, to be like, well, if Jeff Nippert is using it, then so can I. Especially if he cherry-picked science articles saying, oh, it's not going to shorten your life. So thank goodness Jeff Nippert is natural, and thank goodness he made this video.
Right now, as a lifetime natural bodybuilder, 485 nanograms per deciliter. For most natural lifters, the limit for how high your test can get without juice is around 1,000. Remember that. This is the world's most honest steroid user. His blood work came back this month too, and his test levels were over 10,000. Steroids work, flat out. If you took steroids for a year, you could add something like 10 to 20 pounds of muscle. That's 10 times what you'd gain from creatine. But steroids might make you dumber.
Speaking of dumber, if you're using steroids and it's causing crippling anxiety and causing negative side effects, yet you continue to use them, is that what we mean by dumber? Maybe.
A new study found that steroid users had 2.8 times the death rate of natties.
2.8 times the death rate versus natties. Yet in Henselman's video, there's no difference. Cherry-picked using people who are elite athletes taking steroids versus the regular population of couch potatoes. Oh, wow, it doesn't make any difference. And this is unbiased. Shame on you, Henselman. Shame on you.
At least be aware of the risks and come to an educated decision.
And so Jeff Nippert says, look, if you want to do it and you know all the risks, well, that's on you. At least know of the dangers. And so Mike Israetel, clearly, he knows of the risks, he knows the dangers, and yet he's decided to do it. And so should we just sit back and say, hey, do what you want. You're an adult, you can make your own decisions. Or can we consider that some people, they get addicted? Sometimes they make bad decisions, and when they look back, when they get older, they can look back on what they did and think, wish I hadn't have done that. Who do you think can say that right now? I abused steroids for 10 years. Perhaps it took years off my life. Do you think that's a good thing? But while I was abusing those steroids, do you think I wanted to listen to people who are saying, hey, Greg, you shouldn't be doing this. I wanted to win. I wanted my pro card. I want to get on the Olympia stage. It's fun while you're doing it. But perhaps when you get older, you'll look back and have regrets. And so Mike Israetel right now, he's very intelligent. He knows the negative side effects. He says, hey, it's worth it. If I die before my due time from cardiovascular shit, it's been real and this is what I wanted. Do not ever feel the need to be sympathetic of me. Let's replace steroids with sniffing creatine or perhaps using recreational drugs. Hey, if I die, I die. It's my decision. I want to do it. What about your friends? What about your family? Your wife, perhaps wife, kids, friends, family, cousins, parents, everybody. And if you don't have friends, what about your dog? Do you not think they want you to live on this earth as long as humanly possible? And so should we just turn to blind eye? If you have a blind eye, I'm certain you'd love to be able to see. And so listen, you might think that steroids don't affect you negatively, that you can handle it, that you're using lower doses. If you're getting crippling anxiety, if you're reading people's comments and you're having urges to try and hurt these people because you can't handle it because you're on testosterone trend and so on, do you really think it's not being harmful to you? And let me go a little further. If you're using a drug and it's causing horrendous side effects to you, mentally, physically, and so on, and you continue to use that drug, are you not addicted? Are you not addicted? Think of it. You know it's taking years off your life. You know it's doing this to you. It's harmful. It's bad. You know it, and you're smart, intelligent, and you know if you stop, it'll go away. Why do you continue to do it? But yet we should just say, go for it. Cheer him on. Get that pro card. Yeah. Guy's already a multimillionaire, the #1 fitness influencer in the world, doesn't need the money, doesn't need to prove himself to anyone, has already proven it, has got more followers, more fans, more respected than Coach Greg, is doing better than Coach Greg, makes more money than Coach Greg. And so what does he have left to prove? Does this look like I'm shitting on him? Does this look like I'm putting him down? I'm saying he makes more money than me, he's more respected than me, he's doing better than me. Does this look like a guy who's jealous or envious, or a guy who's putting him up on a pedestal? Mike Israetel is here, I'm over here. Perhaps you're there. You want to be up here, you want to be up there. Mike Israetel is at the top of the food chain, as well respected as you could get, but yet still is endangering his life for what? A pro card? A pro card. Why does he need a flipping pro card? Does he plan on competing as a pro at the Olympia? He wants to compete against Chris Bumstead? He ain't going to beat him. Why does he need a pro card? What will it give him? Is it going to help his career in bodybuilding? Does he need the money? Why does he need a pro card? It's going to affect his health, endanger his life. And do you really think that if he wins that pro card and he dies, that people are going to say, oh, but at least he got the pro card? He got the pro card. What do you think his family's going to think? He's come for the king. I mean, he's 5'6", so he's a manlet like Coach Greg, perhaps a short king, but a king? Well, I guess he is the king of YouTube in terms of the fitness world, getting more views than everyone. Who the fuck is Greg to tell another grown man not to abuse PEDs? I am, just like anyone else, pointing out the facts. I speak the facts. I feel like sometimes people are gaslighting me in the comment section, but you can't gaslight facts. I didn't dream up the facts. I didn't imagine those facts. I would be a guy who used to use and abuse performance-enhancing drugs, and I would tell not only him, but you and others who are thinking about doing the same thing to think twice about it. That would be who I am. Thanks for asking. Does that help to answer your question? I did 42 competitions, training naturally for 20 years. I abused steroids for 10 years, and then I stopped. Who better than me to tell another grown man that perhaps they should reconsider? Perhaps maybe they should consider that it's time to retire. If they don't want to listen to me, so be it. I did my best. But do you not think that video is justified, that perhaps it can cause a paradigm shift in thinking? Have you not seen as of late, in 2024 especially, that people are glorifying steroids? People more so than ever before are making it look like using steroids are cool. And if we have one of the most, if not the most knowledgeable YouTube influencer on fitness in the industry using and abusing steroids, does it not give the message that steroids can be used safely? Hey, as long as you take this, take that, use diuretics here, stop there, do this, do that, this dose, do that, hey, it's no big deal, no problem. It's not. Anyone using steroids at a dose above and beyond what is prescribed by your doctor is, in my opinion, abusing steroids. Now, if you're not natty, but you're doing so with the advice and consent of your doctor, for example, with Transcend, remember I partnered with Transcend, then by all means, do what your doctor tells you. But in no way is Dr. Mike Israetel a medical doctor. And so I asked an actual medical doctor, remember Mebs DeGrand, the surgeon? She's a doctor, studied medical school for 11 years. That's even more than people who have PhDs. Remember, she's an eye surgeon, and she said this: he's not a medical doctor, but if he was, he would have violated the first principle, do no harm. And what harm is he doing? To himself. To himself, think about it. He talks about the crippling anxiety. He talks about the thoughts in his head when he's reading comments that he can't wait, that he wishes he could just brr to those people. And we've seen what testosterone, tren, and so on can do to the body. Think of it, if females get certain levels of hormones during their time of the month, during PMS and so on, imagine what test, tren, and so on can do to your body as well as the mind. We've even seen Mike Israetel describe how it can make you dumber. It's making you dumber when you use steroids. I did not even know that. Yet again, I learned something from Dr. Mike. But what Dr. Mike can learn from me is that he should retire. He should reconsider his use of performance-enhancing drugs. While you're in it, while you're dieting, prepping, and you're on those steroids, it's hard to imagine life without them. Trust me, I've been there. I lived your life. I did exactly what you're doing, and so I speak from experience. I can tell you later down the road, you are going to regret it. You're not going to regret it right now. You're making gains. You're 250 pounds of muscle. You can do this, do that. It's amazing. But when you're older and you look back, or if you don't get the chance to be older because you're dead, you're not going to like it then, now are you? I love Dr. Mike, so it's worrying to know he's going into the deep water again. All the knowledge and ability, but with what reasoning? Dr. Mike is probably currently more well-known than most pre-CBUM first-time Mr. Olympias. Bro is a star like Greg, but slashing at his health. There you have it. And so the people recognize this. Dr. Mike is so popular, and so why risk it? Why risk it all for an IFBB Pro card? Is it worth it? I'm telling you it isn't. Dr. Mike versus doctor. I'm not a doctor. And let me remind you again, neither of us are medical doctors. Medical doctors can prescribe performance-enhancing drugs, for example, testosterone, perhaps Anavar, Deca. But there are no medical doctors that I can fathom that would prescribe the drugs that Dr. Mike is using on himself. It makes no sense. You love beefing with Jeff Nippard and his friends, don't you? This has nothing to do with beefing. And did I not just talk about Jeff Nippard saying you shouldn't use steroids, that it shortens your life? 2.8 times the death rate as people who are natural? I don't feel like I'm beefing with Jeff here. I don't feel I'm beefing with Mike here. I feel like I'm trying to help people to convince them that they shouldn't abuse steroids, in particular if it's endangering their health. I mean, we all know that Sam Sulik and Chris Bubstead, these kind of guys, that they're on performance-enhancing drugs. But imagine if they came out and said, you know what? I'm on these steroids and I have crippling anxiety. It's horrendous. I have these thoughts and I have these effects going on my body. So imagine if all these things were happening, yet they still decide to do it. Would you just sit back and do nothing? At least have the courage, the kahunas, the balls to make a video and talk about it. While the rest of you, you sit back and you applaud and you cheer. I love this car wreck. I'm going to sit back and watch as it all unfolds. Give me the popcorn. I love it. Why don't you make a video? Why don't you say, Dr. Mike, retire. We don't need you to win an IB Pro card. We want you to live to your 90. But no, you just sit back and hate on me. Oh, look at you, Coach Greg. You're hating on Dr. Mike. You're saying this and that, and you're a horrible human being. Who's making a bigger difference at trying to discourage the use of performance-enhancing drugs? Name the person. Who's doing a better job? Mike looks much older than his years. Steroids definitely ages a person. It's not worth it, guys. You know what? Does steroids age you? Does it not age you? I don't know. I don't feel I look a whole lot older than 48. Most people say I look much younger than my age. I don't know if it's necessarily going to age you. But what I do know is it ages your body, your heart, your organs, your tissues. You're not going to live as long. And so, yeah, I get it. We care about the aesthetics. We want to look younger than we are. We all do. But what's more important than looking young is feeling young. And if you're abusing steroids, and you have crippling anxiety and you hate it and it's not going well, and you're getting left ventricular hypertrophy, different effects of the body are going on, do you really think you should continue? Is it worth it? My internet dads are fighting. It's not a fight. If you're trying to help somebody to stop something, when you're talking about the negative side effects of something, it's not a fight. This does not look like a fight. Mike would beat me in a fight. He's been training, grappling, fighting for years. This is not a fight. A fight is when two people get together, they're boxing, punching, wrestling, and so on. This is not a fight. The more I learn about professional bodybuilding, the more I am disturbed by it. And consider this is amateur bodybuilding. He's not even a professional. Imagine how much worse it gets when you're a professional. Mike has addressed most of this. He also states that he just loves bodybuilding, regardless of how detrimental it is to his health. Not going to argue it. You know what else is fun for most people, for most addicts? Most people who are sniffing creatine, they love it. Most people who are addicted to recreational drugs, they also like it. Opioid addicted, people who are injecting meth and so on, they all love it. Why do you think they're doing it? Because they love it. Should we just say, oh, but he loves it? Loves it. Do you think that that is enough reason to do it? I love it. Do you know what you can do when you're a bodybuilder? You can compete natural. I competed in bodybuilding 42 times and I loved it. 100% natural. You can believe me, you cannot believe me, I don't care. You can compete in bodybuilding 100% natural. I don't think money is his reason to bodybuild. The man has butlers and Lamborghinis all over the place. And so what he literally said in his video is that he's competing in bodybuilding because he wants to show that his form of training is a little bit better than other people's forms of training. And what does that do? It causes more people to hire him, get his app, and so on. More people are going to buy his programs, going to make him more money.
The only reason I compete is to illustrate to people that marginally more than they would otherwise believe the methods that we espouse at Renaissance Periodization are effective.
He literally said in his video that if he wasn't a coach, he wouldn't compete. He said he'd do stuff like grappling.
Would you compete if you didn't have a business tied to it then?
Probably not in bodybuilding.
Yes,
in jiu-jitsu, I'd compete all the time.
Yeah.
It's his words, not mine. I didn't invent this. He was being interviewed by a good friend of his, Omar Usuf. Ask Omar, or just watch the freaking video. I literally show the exact interview and I show what he said. And so stop making up stories. Oh, Coach Greg clickbaiting it. I don't lie. I show exactly what's being stated. I'm sure Dr. Mike would much prefer me making a video saying, go Dr. Mike, keep training. You are the man. If you keep putting your heart and soul into it and you keep abusing performance-enhancing drugs, you might be able to win a pro card. Get after it. Don't worry about the health ramifications because after all, elite level athletes, according to Hemsworth, well, they live just as long as couch potatoes. And so go after it. Never mind the demons. Never mind the anxiety. Keep at it. Add in more tren. And so that's what you want to hear. You want to hear there's no negative side effects, that if you stop, it's fine. As long as you don't abuse recreational drugs, you're not going to die. I mean, it's not like we've seen Boston Lloyd or Rich Piano. We've never seen anyone famous ever die. That's never happened. Dallas McCarver, no one. I mean, Cedric McMillan, he never died an early death. No, it couldn't possibly have been from steroids. You know, abusing steroids for years, of which Dr. Mike has been doing for approximately 15 years. It couldn't possibly be that. Because it's worth it, because, you know, he can afford butlers and McLarens, Lamborghinis, and so on. Dr. Mike, he jokes about how much money he has. He's not really joking. He actually has that much money. I do believe he has more money than even Coach Greg. And yet people have been telling me all along, he doesn't care about the money. He doesn't need it. He doesn't live a lavish lifestyle. And so why does he then need to be a pro bodybuilder to get more people to hire him for his coaching plan? Why does he need that? Does he really need to sell more apps? Does he really need to prove himself? He's already the Walter White of the fitness industry. The leader of Breaking Bad. He makes the most money. What more does he have to prove? Why can't he quit while he's ahead? And so you know what I'd love to see? I'd love to see Mike Israetel get off steroids, quit right now, quit while you're ahead, and start using Turkesterone, Ectobuilder, and GO2 Max. Get healthier than last time. Perhaps start racing bikes. You can race Coach Greg in a Zwift bike race. Do more cardio than last time. Get down to a svelte 200 pounds of pure muscle at 5'6". You don't need to use steroids. You don't need to abuse them. You've already accomplished everything. You have nothing less to prove. You are not less of a man for not having a pro card. Pro card is from your genetics. If you had the genetics of Chris Bumstead, you've been pro decades ago. It's not the fact that you don't know how to train. It's not the fact you don't know how to coach, that you don't know how to eat. It's just genetics. We can't change that. You do have very good genetics. Clearly, you're a national level bodybuilder, but perhaps your genetics for abusing performance enhancing drugs, they're not as good as they should be. Admittedly, I've gone over your cycle. I've seen what you've been using. It's not good. You must realize that. You've stated this. You're using more diuretics than almost anyone you've ever seen in your entire life. You're cutting out testosterone for 6 weeks. You hold more water than everyone. These are not good signs. Quit before it's too late. Subscribe, click the bell button, comment to boost the algorithm, like the video if you like it. Please remember, if you want to use harder than last time supplements, use code GREG, 15% off. Click the link in the description. If you have no money, it's okay. It's not just about making money. You have a free diet and training program. It's on the website. It's close to 50 pages. Become one of the 300,000 plus newsletter subscribers. Head over to the website. Don't forget to watch those 2 bloops. Also, add a comment, subscribe, like the video. Go and follow Mike Israetel. He's close to 2 million followers, perhaps already 2 million. He'll have more followers than Coach Greg by perhaps the end of the week. Go and follow him. I'm not a hater. I'm not jealous. I'm not envious. I wish him the best. I want him to live a longer and healthier life than freaking last time. Interested in the book? Check out Cookbook 3.1. It's on PDF and hard copy. You can get either or. Of course, we have the Seco protein bars. More delicious, better tasting than freaking last time. Only 230 calories, softer than ever before. 20 grams of protein. Again, subscribe to everybody. Don't forget to check out my next video. And until next time, I am out.